Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to create the illusion of your character picking up an object and then having it teleport back to where they got it from. I hope you find it helpful. So anyway, I'm just in a third person template right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to right click and I'm going to create a new blueprint class, and I'm going to just call this device, and we're going to double click into it, and I'm going to dock it up top right here. And for this, I'm just going to grab a sphere to give the illusion of some sort of magical device. Maybe it's an orb or something like that. So I'm just going to press lock there, and then I'm going to decrease its size down to 0.2 so it scales evenly. Grab a new material for it, maybe something shiny, like maybe metal. Okay, we've got that. So we basically have our object. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a box collision here, and I don't want it to be a child of it, so I'm just going to drag it onto the sphere so they're on the equal standing. And then I'm just going to increase the line thickness here so I can see it. Compile and save that. And now I'm just going to jump over into the event graph, and with the box collider selected, I don't need these, so I'm going to get rid of those. With the box selected, I'm going to go ahead and select on component begin overlap, and then box collider again, and on component begin overlap. I think it can be very confusing, especially for beginners, understanding where the control of things is. One thing you'll get out of this tutorial, hopefully, is understanding that a little bit better. Right now, we're in a brand new blueprint. We're in the third person template, but we're not in the third person blueprint. There is a way, using what I'm going to show you right now, for us to temporarily grab control away from the third person player so that we can have our little input situation here. And then when the player walks away, it goes back to the third person player character. I'm going to drag off of here, and I'm going to get something called enable input right here. And then I'm going to drag off of here, and I'm going to search for disable input. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the player controller. So what's going to happen is when the person is in the trigger box area, this blueprint will have temporary control over the keyboard. And then once the player leaves the box trigger area, the control will go back to the third person player character. So then this just allows us to have input control for the time that the player is standing in our box collider area. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a keyboard press, and it's just going to be a 1. And then I'm just going to grab a flip-flop node here. Flip-flop node. And then we're going to grab our sphere here, and we're going to go set its visibility. Set visibility. And so what we're going to do, and let me hit Control D and make a copy of that. It's going to be on by default. So what we're going to do is drag this in, and then when the player hits 1, it's going to turn it off. And then if they were to hit 1 again, like they decided to leave the object where it was, we'll turn the visibility back. Oh, I need to plug this in here. There we go. Okay, so then that's that. So then the only other thing is that when the player walks away and they're outside of our sphere of influence here, the control's going to go back to the third person player controller, and if they press 1, nothing's going to happen. So we need a way for when the player walks away to teleport the object back, to give the appearance of teleporting it back to where it came from. We have to go into the third person player character to do that. And for the third person player character to be able to communicate with us, the most efficient way that's going to be is through a blueprint interface. So what we're going to do is I'm going to right click here and go to blueprint interface here. And I'll just leave it called new interface. And we're going to double click into it, and we're going to come down to input. We'll leave it called new function too. We're going to come down here to inputs, and we'll just call this trigger, and this is a Boolean value here. So we're just going to go ahead and compile and save that. Now the rule of thumb with the interface is that who's ever on the receiving end of the blueprint communication needs to implement it. So in this case, since it's the third person going to be making a phone call to our device, then we need to implement it on our device. Speaking of which, I'll just go ahead and drag this into the scene right now too. So there's our device in the scene. On class settings, come down here to implement interface and search for new interface right here. And this is really a great way of communicating between blueprints. So if I come back on the event graph, I come over here to interface, you'll see that if I double click, it creates an event. This event is going to be coming from the third person blueprint when they press the keyboard 1. Actually, all I got to do is just drag this up here. And if we zoom in here a little bit, I can hit Control D. And what I want to be doing here is turning the visibility on. So I want to be giving the illusion that I walked away, I grabbed it, and then I'm some distance away and I press 1 and then it pops up back to where I got it from. So we're turning on the visibility again to the sphere is our target. So all we have to do now is go into the blueprint third person here and set up this side of things. So all we're going to do is we're going to go to keyboard press, and then what we're going to do is we're going to search for the new interface function message, this one here, right? And all we have to do is plug this in here, and then we do need the target for this is our device. So I'm going to right click here and go get actor of class right here, and I'm going to have to plug this in somewhere. So let me just plug it in over here. I guess I can just plug it in right here when I press 1. So we'll just plug that in like that, plug this in like that, and this will get our reference to our device. So we go device here, and then just pop this into here. And what we want to be doing is turning it on. So we set that to true, and we compile and save that. And that's all we should have to do. Let me just check one thing here. So the trigger here on the new event needs to plug into here like that. And that's the whole enchilada. So that's the code here, all the nodes there and here. So that's what the whole, let me get rid of this. This looks kind of in the way. So that's the whole thing right there. And then on the blueprint, there's just this. Okay, this should work. So let's test it. So I hit play. Oh, I put that too high, hold on. Okay, I hit play. So I come over here. You'll notice if I hit 1, nothing happens because all it's doing is turning the visibility on to that device. So it's already on, so it's not having any effect, right? So now I'm hitting 1 on the keyboard, so nothing's happening. That's what I want. And then I'm in the game playing like always, and then I come over here. Now I'm in the sphere of influence, and I hit 1. See how it disappears? And if I hit 1 again, it comes back. Off, on, off, on. So then I say I grab it, and then say, okay, I've got the device now, and then I can leave, and then say, oh, I want to put it back. I press 1, it's back. Cool, huh? So anyway, and if we look at how we're doing with our memory management, if I come here on the device and go to size map, you'll see, look, we're doing really well here on this blueprint that we created. Anyway, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.